Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to put together the Fliptop box, which is a SVG file from Simply Crafty SVGs. So to start, I would suggest go ahead and fold the pieces on the score lines as shown. You can see that's how the front will look there. That little long piece at the bottom that's rounded, this tab, folds over, and that's just to make it a little bit more secure in the front. The side tabs are simply just tabs to help secure the box when you fold over the top piece. So this is the top piece with the panel. Now you can add the panel first, so if you do, just be careful how you glue it on. You don't want it to buckle at the folds. So just add the amount of glue that makes sense for the glue that you're using. I was a little heavy-handed, but it really didn't show through, so I was fortunate that way. But you want to start with matching it up to one fold like the top one first, and then working your way down or starting the bottom and up. And you can see that I centered it between, on the left and right there's the equidistance. Well, it really isn't, but try to center it. If it's off a little bit, as mine was, I just kind of pulled it up quickly and lined it back up. So just to show you that I actually do things like that, but you want to try to get it on the first try, or you can put it on later. You could actually put the box together and then put these on later. The reason you need to be careful is because I put it on the second time, I have to be careful with the buckling at these edges here. So just showing you how I'm adjusting it. Your glue may or may not glue really quickly, so you may not have the opportunity to pull it up. So be a little bit more careful than I was. That's the moral of the story here. So now we're going to put together the box. So I'm going to glue that bottom tab here to the bottom of the box. So we're going to line up that left edge there to the inside tab fold. So we're going to carefully line it up, make sure it's centered on the left and right of the box, which is top and bottom for us in this view. Once it's lined up, go ahead and add pressure to secure it. You might even want to fold it up too, just to make sure you got it in the right place before you add a lot of pressure. So now we're just going to go ahead and fold over and glue the remaining tabs. So these will just glue to the inside. Now this box is fairly large because I created it to hold A2s. It could potentially hold a 5x7. You could try to fit them in there, cards. Or a small gift that's not really too heavy. I mean, if you wanted a heavier gift, you could always add a bottom panel. So you go ahead and you see that I'm just gluing these to the inside of the sides of these boxes. And I didn't put the side panels on, but you can put those on before or after. So I'm just matching up that edge to the tab fold and then just flipping it on its side to apply pressure against the table. So it's a different kind of, I got inspired by a different design. It wasn't exactly the same, but I thought, well, that's kind of fun. Let me try that. So this was kind of one of those experimental things that turned into a design. Remember, it's not meant to hold a lot of weight because of its construction. But I think you could easily get something like 10 cards and envelopes if they're not really bulky. I mean, you'd have to try. So I think this is best used, in my opinion, for like making a bunch of handmade cards, because a lot of us have extra cards that you want to give away, maybe all multi-purpose. So you can see I just go ahead and match that edge up. Biggest thing there is matching it up once you get it matched up and applying pressure against the table to get it secure. You might have to flip those side tabs up. Like I said, those just flap in. Just kind of bend the paper a little bit to get in there to get that last tab here on the other side. And you could use a vine tip applicator. I was using my big tacky glue box. I tend to use my tacky glue when I have a larger amount of really large tabs, but when they're small, I use my fine tip applicator normally. So you want to take the time to make sure those tabs are good and secure and they're not pulling up. You see the other side pulls up just a little bit, but I will fix that. So now those can flap up, because those are just basically almost a structural thing, so when you pull the flap down it sits a little bit flatter. And I'm going ahead and adding glue to that big tab there and just folding it over to the inside. It truly is just kind of a structural thing, trying to give it more of a finished edge on the front when you open it. You just can flip it down and apply pressure against the table to get it nice and flat. And you see that my top panel came off in the back because of all those me pulling it off and putting it back on. So I'll just fix that after I'm done with this. So just putting a little bit light bits of glue on there to get that fixed and adhered. And that's simply because I didn't get it centered the first time. I pulled it off to recenter it and didn't get it obviously secured very well. So now you could have put those on earlier, but I'm going to put them on now. I got a little, see, I get flustered sometimes because I got a little flustered because I intended to put these on earlier. So my imperfection is showing through. I guess I'm human. So we're going to center these. So what happens is I got that top panel didn't go on, so I didn't put it on earlier. But it's easy enough to put on. As you can see, you can flip it sideways. Whenever you have flat edges, the nice part about that is that if you have panels you need to put on later, you can flip them over and apply pressure. So you can see it just centered both sides, both panels on both sides. Boy, am I tongue-tied or what? And I did ink the edges a little bit on that one too, with a little brown chalk ink. So it'll flip down like that. And we'll add a little Velcro dot later on to help secure that flap. So however you want to secure it. I chose a little Velcro thing because they're really inexpensive and they're good fasteners. So now we're going to put together, I actually drew with a pen using the die cutting machine. For this case I used a Cricut pen because I was using my Cricut Maker to write out the handmade cards. And then I glued it on the back mat. So you could write whatever you want to. I'm going to add these little rhinestones. I colored these rhinestones. I'm going to use these little mini glue dots. And I colored these rhinestones with alcohol ink actually. So you know they're the cheapo ones that you get that you can get from a, well in my case I got it at Walmart, but whatever store you have that's similar to that. I just used my little I have a little applicator for my alcohol inks, and I colored them with different kind of tones to match the paper, the pattern paper on the front. So it's the first time I did that. I thought, well, that should work because alcohol ink adheres to non-porous items. It doesn't work so well on paper, but on plastic it should, and it did. the colors don't really come through on the video as well as they do in person. So I'm just using my little pick-me-up tool to get it placed. I might do it with my finger. I'm not using the pick-me-up tool to put it down, but you could do that as well. I'm using it just to pick it up to add the glue dot to the back, because with the small ones the glue dot's slightly smaller than the actual plastic rhinestone, so I'm having to kind of fold over the glue dot with my finger, so I have to pick it up. I'm getting that last one, so I was trying to make sure that they were visually spaced correctly, the same way on the top and bottom. Nothing's perfect, it's a craft. Then we're going to take the box, and if it does kind of roll up to you, because it did with the glue, I just kind of roll it down just to flatten it. Or you could open it up and put something flat on it to flatten it. And then we're going to attach it to that later on, but first we want to add the little Velcro dots. So these are little clear ones that I got at my Walmart, my local Walmart. I'm going to put the fuzzy part on the actual flap, and the one that's not fuzzy, I don't know what to call it, so I'm just calling it fuzzy non-fuzzy. I'm going to put that on the box. But the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to put them together. So see, I'm going to put it somewhere underneath there. But I thought about it in the placement of it. I'm just trying to get that flat there. I'm just going to put them together. I'm going to sandwich them together and then stick it onto the flap where I want it. So we're going to sandwich them together. So I'm taking the little adhesive backing off, putting them straight together there. This is how I selected to do it, however it works for you. Stick it on this part because I know where I want it on there. And then as I flatten it and fold it over, and you could do the same thing, you could put it in the actual box and do the same thing, but I wasn't quite sure how easy it would be to pull it up and if it would pull both of them up, but fortunately I kind of pushed it in and let it set for a second and then carefully lifted it up, and then I could apply a little bit more pressure to each side, but it put it right where I wanted it to, so it's easy to close. So put those aside. I'm going to use double-sided foam tape to pop this up off the top. The other thing you could have done is pop up I almost thought about popping up the middle part of the label there, just making sure my rhinestones are in place there. We're just going to put it on top, and like I said, you could put any saying on here. If you want to say Merry Christmas as a Christmas gift, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is, Happy Birthday. That's the great thing about generic boxes. You can use them for anything. So I just centered it, or you could use any other embellishment you have on the front. And then I'll add this one large rhinestone to the front. So right there, you put a little handle there too. That would be kind of fun too. But I also colored that with alcohol ink, which gets on your fingers too. It actually stains your fingers, so I had to be careful how I did it. And I put a big glue dot on it to place it. So that's it. That finishes off the box. So again, you can use it for, as it says right there, handmade cards. You could make some personalized cards and give it as a gift, which is always a great gift in my opinion. Or you could put any kind of small gift inside. Just make sure it's not really heavy. It's not meant to hold a lot of heavy items, but it'd be a good cookie box too for Christmas or the holiday season generally, or birthdays. If you did like this project, I would appreciate a little like on the video, a little thumbs up, and or subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.